Hey, how are you?
Hello. Good. I was doing I'm in my art studio, so I was playing with some soon-to-be earrings
Ah,
and
nice.
yeah, I was cleaning up the edges. So I'm a little dusty.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yes. Got different drills that I have to use for it. Ah,
Ah, okay.
good.
That's nice.
Yes.
Oh, good stuff.
Good
Um,
stuff. Yes. And I um was had this idea for some earrings and I couldn't figure out how to make it work. Like it was up here. So I spent a day trying different things. And finally I figured out, and I just had to buy a certain piece to make it work. And they are so super cute. I wish I had them right here to show you, but I don't. They're in another room.
ah,
But I'm
mhm.
really excited about those too.
Love that. Anyway, let me ask Aiden to come turn off these lights because they're on my face. This one, they're very bright. Anyway, I bought a
It
pink,
gives the little streaks,
yeah.
got cute little streaks. Be like shining bright like a diamond.
Wait, let me call him so I don't make noise here. Oh my God, what's going on? You know, nowadays how do I mute myself? Okay, about to mute myself so I can. Yeah, so I need to turn off the ones. The yeah, that's better. Yeah, thank you, Baba. Yeah, so this
Thank
is.
you, Aiden.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, we can start. I bought myself a pink hat. Oh,
I like.
yeah, I love pink. Thank you, Scopos. Hascopos. I don't know how to say to pronounce that name. Uh,
No,
yeah. Anyway, it's been a lovely week or busy.
sorry.
No,
The phone call.
yeah, extremely busy though. I forgot today was Thursday. I don't know, like I know, but then immediately I put it in my calendar. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this calendar. I calendarized it. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So glad I did that. How was your week? Before we start the very amazing
Um,
conversation, thank you everyone joining.
yeah,
Please like.
I mean, it's been good. Like I said, I've been working on my jewelry
Mm,
and I'm really excited about this line of earrings that I'm doing.
uh-huh.
It's more of like a boho chic type feel to it. So I'm really excited. That's what I've been working on this week. And my son turns 14
Uh-huh.
on Saturday. So just
Congratulations.
had to go order a cake and all that stuff. So,
Oh,
um,
that's
yeah,
beautiful. Love that.
yeah,
That's so nice. Oh my God. Yeah, 14 incoming. Ah, he's the first one to turn 14, then Siako, then Aiden. Oh, anyway.
yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah. Age. Well, I wish, anyway, I don't want to say I wish I was younger.
it's just crazy. Yeah, it's just they grow up so fast, and
Yeah.
uh,
Chris, I'm
needs
just
to slow
going
down a little bit.
money. Yeah, I mean, I prefer to
Oh,
be.
he's talking about,
Yeah, unless you know
you
what
know,
I
because
really want. Like, unless I've told you like I want something, do not go buy anything. Unless we were together, and then you say I was said, I want that, and then don't buy anything. Just don't. Just give me cash. I go to look for stuff.
right,
That's what I prefer.
right. No, like same here. It's
Yeah,
just, especially I think in this stage in my life,
yeah,
there's nothing to get like I need, so to say, so to speak,
mm,
um, so that's easier. And, my son's well taken care of, so he has no like, immediate needs, need and want two different things. And even his wants are not very much, if any. So,
Mm.
he can just sit there and save it for something that pops up or
Mhm.
in the future,
Yeah.
something comes along. So it just works
Mhm.
out great.
Yeah, I mean, and there's this time we read the Reddit question where someone wanted a $2,000 um, home gaming setup, and that was crazy. So we're having
Ugh.
that conversation. Like, it was like their birthday, right? And the parent was like, "Should I get it or should I just let him work for it and give him like,
Oh, I remember
yeah,
the question. Yeah, yeah, we talked about that, and it's that you can't always get what you want.
yeah,
I would do it if you come up with half of it, maybe, or something along that lines. But just to
yeah,
go, here you go,
yeah,
do it.
yeah."
That
So
because then Christmas could come along and other things, and God, that price tag is going to get higher and higher, and that's not what it's about.
yeah, it's so nice to have. Their children are always very demanding and want more, more, and more. I want this. I want the latest iPhone. I want this gaming system. I mean, it's so nice, I guess, that I don't know how you have to make sure that you have kids. Like your kids are not those kind of children who are like, I want this. So
Yeah,
you end up being frustrated because there's nothing you can do that makes them content. Yeah. So,
right. And it's it's difficult being a parent, but the children need to learn, and their first teacher is you.
yeah.
So you have to be a
Mhm.
good role model and teach them that you have to work for. I wasn't given everything I wanted as a kid, but I wasn't hurting for anything, okay?
Mm,
And but I soon realized because when I babysat and then had money and I bought myself something with the money I earned, I feel like I appreciated it even more. Not that I didn't appreciate what my parents did for me, but
yeah.
I could appreciate how much effort they put in working to earn that money to get me, A, B, C, D, whatever, when I had to do that myself.
Yeah.
And we need to teach our kids that even at an early age so they can learn and respect money and, not spend beyond their means.
Mm,
And especially because here in the US, it's really bad. Uh, when a kid hits about 18, I mean,
mhm.
the credit card offers start piling in.
Yeah.
And, we need to teach them about budgeting and uh, healthy money matters, how to save money, how to invest your money, and so on. Because those are important things and life skills that they need that they're not taught.
Yeah. So let's talk about practical stuff. What are some of the practical things that can be done to teach children, like how to take care of money and how to grow, how to spend it wisely? And then that's the first question though. But then the other question was there, let's say for example I'm rich, like Elon Musk rich, right? And my son wants a $2,000 gaming system or even $5,000 gaming system. Should I give it to them because I can afford it? That's like pocket change for me. Should I give
Right.
it to them? And the same thing, let's think about it this way also. Like if they wanted a PS5 and they got the PS5, it's like $500. And there's this other gift that's like how do you know what and when? How much is a lot? Yeah, that it's all relative. Like how do you know it's a lot so that they're not,
I mean, whether you have a lot of money or don't have a lot of money,
yeah.
appreciating the value of a dollar is important.
Mm-hmm.
So, and not to lose sight of that. So, if you are in the uppity up, richity rich, not forgetting where you came from or your parents, if you're an Igbo baby.
I
Um,
came from
you,
richness. Let's say I'm rich, rich, rich. I don't know those other
right.
things. Like,
Well, that's why, again, as parents, you need to not forget that and teach your child the value of a dollar and what it means to work and earn, right? Just because you have money doesn't mean we forget that our children still need to learn. They learn And remember, they learn more by watching what we do before they even hear what we're saying.
Mm,
So, and how to go. Like I remember my brother and I, when we were younger back in the day,
mm,
he had a paper route. So, and he had that meant he had to get up in the morning and he was required to fold the papers a certain way. Then he had to go out and deliver them. And then not only did he have to go deliver them back in the day, he had to go collect the money, every week when it was due. So
mm,
it was teaching him these habits and what it takes. And then it went on. I was babysitting, and so I had to learn. And it was different back in the day when I grew up because I was 8 years old when I started babysitting. But times were different. We were definitely more mature. And my brother and I at one time even started mowing lawns to make money. It gives you that idea of accomplishment and what can I do? And by doing these things, it's like, how can I make more money? What can I do to do more? It expands the mind for a growth set, a positive growth set.
yeah, yeah. So the real goal should be to teach them how to make money, not, yeah, yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Uh,
And there's
yeah.
so many ways. And you know what? Today is so much easier than back in the day because we have access to this. So
Yeah.
getting yourself out there to sell, whether it's a product, a thought, or an idea, is that much easier. You just have to put forth the effort and the work and be consistent about it,
Mm, okay. So,
right? So no matter how much money you make, you still need to teach your children about money. You should.
true. Absolutely. Makes sense. Yeah. So, what are some of the things we need to teach them? There's the first thing, how to earn the money, right? Some of the ideas is like, hey, what can they do now? It's not like the old times where you can start delivering newspapers. I mean,
Right. Well, I mean, I think like the important thing though is to involve them in what the things in their immediate life cost. How much do we pay, for the house, for electricity, for
mm,
the internet usage?
mm,
If you have, we have yard guys here and pool guy. These things cost money. How much for a car? And then you have insurance for the car. You have house insurance. Then there's health insurance. And so grocery bills start
mm,
there in their immediate life, the things that affect them. So this cost this much. How much do I need to make just to cover this? Okay, that's not including doing all the extras you might want to do, go out to eat, go to a movie, buy a new video game or whatever. That's just the basic necessities of living.
mm,
I think that's the first thing they need to understand when and take them shopping so they can see how much things go. They can see when the groceries are rung up and go, oh, that's a lot of money. I've had both my
mm,
nephew and my son with me
mm,
going, oh, wow. And my
mm,
friends, children. So to see that because the idea of what they think and the reality are usually two different things. So that's probably where I would start off with.
mm. Okay, so you're saying start off with educating them on how much things cost.
Yeah, like their own house bills, just to be in the house, whether you own a house, you're renting, you're in an
Mm,
apartment,
mm,
wherever you dwell, that and what it costs just to keep that going. So there's the
yeah,
cost of
yeah,
just to live there, the
yeah,
electricity, the internet, if you have that. And then, if you have any of these pay services for, like Hulu, whatever,
yeah,
those things. Some places have not just electric, but maybe they have, gas for their heating, which is then
mm,
a whole separate thing. You see, they need to understand that. They need to
absolutely.
understand that. They need to understand how things work, getting them involved in chores.
Yeah.
So the boys here, they have chores doing. My son now is really taking on independence with washing his own clothes. So,
Mm,
this week he said, Mom, I want to do it. And I said, well, let me go and I'll just watch. You can do it, but I just want to make sure that you know how to work the machines and
yeah.
where to put the right things. And so this is the kick he's on. I have all for it. Do your laundry.
Mhm.
Um, and I love that
Yeah,
he has taken charge of that. And he will even, because we do talk about these things in our house, and when we are going places, and he is very money aware, and he'll go, "Oh, no, that's too expensive. Don't do that." If I was getting something for him.
yeah,
And I have to say, if I can't afford it, I won't buy it. But right now, mom can afford that. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So
okay.
he's very aware.
I love that. So it's more of
Mhm.
developing awareness towards finances by
Yes.
maybe creating the budget with them so they know how much is going into
Yes.
food. Love it.
Yes, exactly. Because, it's even, talking to him about how to balance out their bank statement, how to, so for instance, when I was working as a hairdresser, my books would be filled with clients, and I knew what services they were getting. So I knew about how much money I was making a week. Um, but at the end of the week, I went and deposited my money into the bank. And the first thing, of course, I had to do, I had booth rent. So I had to make sure that was paid. I had to restock my supplies I used for the week. So I had to make sure that that was done. Had to make sure there was gas in my car.
Yeah.
And so I let this money build up, and I would take it out, my bills that were coming up out of my, um, where I had it written down on my statement. And so even if I went and looked at my bank, it said I had a lot more money than I did, but I really didn't, because all that money I knew was about to be taken out for one bill or another.
Yeah.
So teaching them about, stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
Um, some people here get paid once a month. Some get paid every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Some people get paid once a week, depending on your job. Making them
Mm,
aware of that, because then you have to be aware of how your budget is spent for that month, and how to live within your means, that you're not living from paycheck to paycheck.
true.
That's an
True.
important skill
Mm,
for them to learn. And we've talked about this before, Cecilia, needs versus wants,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I need to have this. I need a house. I need electricity. I need the food to survive. I
Yeah.
want a PS5, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
True.
which.
Yeah. True. Absolutely. So we talked about there is the aspect of creating awareness towards the cost of things, which is involve them in budgeting, involve them in doing shopping, so they understand how much things cost. And then there is the aspect of introduce to them the concept of earning, yeah, so that they can understand that, you know what, there are things I can do to actually earn money. What are some things I can do? So try to ask, what do you think you can do to earn money, that kind of thing. And then I think the other thing would be saving. How do we introduce the aspect of
Yes.
saving? That's extremely important also.
Yes. Saving and economics. I know you learn it in high school here. Um, I don't think it's taught enough for
Mm.
people to understand. I feel like I'm even not as educated as I should and need to be at my age on economics,
Mm.
and how that directly affects right now. Of course, the whole world knows all the stuff that's happening, which has just been a whirlwind of things here. And I've heard a lot of ignorant comments
Yeah.
um, going around on social media. So economics and how government works, whether you're for or against, you need to know how things work in your country or where you reside. It's important because knowledge is power.
Mm.
So, and if you know anybody in investing, um, getting with them and learning how to invest your money strategically, and matter of factly. What I mean by that is, my brother teaches this. Give him a shout out.
Yeah.
He was in here. I don't know if he's still in here, but he teaches it about not going into it emotionally, but going into it with facts. So learning how to do that, because that is a good skill you can pass down to your children as well.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I think I've seen this. Like,
He's
I
in the comments, y'all.
yeah, Chris. I wish I could invite Chris talk about like the basic of finances because there's some things
Yeah,
that I personally am learning slowly. To be honest, like I just did not.
yeah,
Yeah,
same here.
yeah. So what are some of the basic of which most people don't understand, like who's printing money, who is distributing sorry, distributing the money,
It's
why
a
why
long
is the money
it's a
printed?
long history. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
don't be shy about that. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah,
There is so much more to learn and to understand,
yeah,
and why things are going the way they are, why decisions are being made,
yeah,
you know, things happening in your country, and there's financial to understand that.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
Christopher Inks official is in the comments right now. Go check him out. Um, get
Yeah,
some really good info from him.
yeah, he's good in finance. Okay.
Yes, he's a financial forecaster and educator. So I'm not BSing you when I say go see him.
And then we have the I think also the concept of interest is important.
Hmm.
How money grows over time, the compounding aspect. So it's like putting money in stocks or whatever, so that I think there's a point where it reaches where it's like you open an account for them and then you're like, I'm gonna put this money for you here so you can watch it grow, and maybe you can be putting, even if it's like $50 a month, so they can just watch that grow in like in 10 years, exponential growth. Like, how much would that be as it compounds? I think that's also an important,
Right,
so they can see that in real and they can actually believe in this. I think that's also important. um,
right.
Compounding
Chris
is
says compounding is the eighth wonder of the world.
I wonder though, Chris, I hope it is because I put some money on Bitcoin. Hopefully it compounds and makes me wonder, I want it to be the oh my god. Like you have like 0.0000000 or something BTC and you're like, oh my god, look at this. I look at my account, I'm like, wow, look at you. In 10 years' time, you shall be big. I'm like, oh my god, it's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's also a good thing. I think yeah, I think that's something that should be introduced really early
We
on.
we need to talk Chris into coming on here one day so he could give us a little talk about that, especially when it comes to children and his thoughts on that.
Yeah, Chris, it might make some people angry. So anyway, we shall see. We just finance. And then there is the importance of making smart financial decisions. Also, that's an important one. We have a lot of consumerism, right?
Hmm.
So just teaching them to think critically about advertisements and impulse buys. There's a lot of consumerism,
Yes.
especially when you watch TikTok videos.
Yes.
So it's like you have this, right? And then you see someone else advertising another one, you go buy it, and then there's another one. So you have like 10 of this in the house. So you actually never finish this. You continue adding. Yeah, I think it's important that that is taught. I believe in, just not having too much. And please, I know someone is gonna say, no, I did not. I thought Chris would talk about my wigs. So like, why are you buying more than one wig? She just have one wig, which is true, yeah, right? Like one wig is enough. But I was like, I now have three wigs. So it's not about say like, oh, you buy this, then you buy another. I was like, yeah, three is
They're
enough
not
now.
saying
I'm
they're
okay.
different. They're
Yeah, so
different. They're different. They're not the
yeah, different
same.
colors. This is long black. The other one is short and more African hair. Then the other one is like a different color. So I mean, you have to have different colors, right? So it's different looks, different time, you know. So now
Yep.
I don't want to now start saying, oh, you should not be buying so many things. While someone else is like, yes, you're saying that and you do the same. But I think generally just try to keep it lean, like not too much, like that. What is it called? Minimalist. Like,
And know your limit. Again, not living beyond your means
yeah,
and
absolutely.
going, you know, what is, because what's important to you and where you do your little splurge is going to be different from that of somebody else. My
Yeah.
brother's splurge is putting into his business and investing into himself. That's where he does his money every day, and that's why he's successful, is because he does that. um so right now I am investing in my business to get it up and going.
Mm,
So now I need to do the other part and get it going, and my son
yeah.
is invested in this because he comes and he actually asks questions, and I get to talk with him as I'm trying to build my business up on how it works. So he already sees his uncle who is successful in running and owning his own business, and now he's seeing his mom
Yeah.
reaching
The
for that
same.
goal as well. So how much do products cost, and how do you break it down, and then the putting it together, the advertising, and everything that goes forth. That's something, as we're talking about, to show that's ways of earning money and how it goes, that you can't just turn this on and start doing all this. These YouTubers and these creators, they spend hours and hours creating the content. They spend
Mhm.
hours and hours going in and editing
Yeah.
and so on, just to get this video for 30 seconds that they may watch. And the children need to understand that doesn't just happen in 2 seconds.
Yeah, there's a lot of background work that is done.
Hmm.
Yeah, right. Oh, anyway, so that's so important. I guess the other thing, yeah, being said is like have use practical examples, like you said, helping decide how to spend grocery money, um, and then budgeting for family vacation, such activities. So practical stuff that will help children understand about money. That's one of
Hmm.
that. Those are some of the examples. Like let them do the money thinking and use money and try earn money. And ultimately, obviously, is to teach them financial independence, how to have good debt, avoid bad debt, manage expenses, and be able to
How to
plan.
shop, ask for questions. This brings up, when you mentioned this,
Yeah,
when you said vacations, it just reminded me of last year when I went on that cruise and took my son,
yeah.
and we were in the Bahamas, and he had his money. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, I got him souvenir t-shirts so that with all my family back home.
Yeah,
But if there was extra that he wanted, he had his money for it. And he's really into drawing. And he saw this kind of journal, kind of a leather looking cover, and it was like really cool. I think it was like a serpent or a dragon or something, very textured, very cool, blank pages. And he's
mm,
like, that's where I'm gonna do like my best stuff. I'm gonna put that in there. I'm like, okay. And we couldn't really find a price. And then we kind of saw one where it looked like, oh, I forgot what the price is.
mm,
Um, it's like, I thought it was somewhere where it was like 15, but when we got up there, 25. But then
mm.
when we got up there, I think it was like $40, and he still paid for it. And I was like, James, if you didn't want to pay for it, you could have said, oh, wait, I changed my mind. So letting children know until you hand that cash over, you can go, oh no, cancel that order is very important. So now we laugh about this because it was
40
a
out
learning.
of the.
It
Wow.
was a hard, and he complained about it forever. And I
Yeah,
was like, but
yeah,
until that money can, you can say, oh, never mind. I'd like to put that back. But, I was
yeah,
letting him do his own little thing. And I was like, oh, that's when we should have asked, how much is this, before just going up there. So hard lesson learned. He still
yeah.
has not drawn one thing in there yet. He's still saving it, but
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, absolutely.
So
Like,
there. So
yeah, I think he felt like he would be embarrassed, like wasted the person's time. And it reminds me like today, I bought some dates, right? So like when I was looking at the prices of the dates, I was like, okay, um, this is like this. There was one that's like $5. Or like, oh, this $5 is more. It's very expensive. I can't buy this one. Then I saw another one. In my eyes, I saw it was $3, 3 point something. I took it. Then when I was paying, I was like, why is the bill so high? Because I bought some fruits also. And then when I got home, I looked at the dates. Oh shit! I bought the dates are like $8. I'm like, oh my god! I should have looked at that number clear. Like I should have taken it. Like, is it? So I instead of seeing like a three, instead of seeing a three, I saw no, instead of seeing a nine, I saw a three. I don't know how it's like they put that nine like this. So I thought it was three something. Apparently it was 900 and something. So it was like three times what I expected.
enjoy those yummy dates.
Yeah, so now I'm just eating
Just
one.
nibble on, just take a little bite and that just that
Yeah.
one little bite
So I'm just gonna eat one a day. It's fine.
and take 30 minutes to eat it.
Yeah,
Little
I know.
tiny bites, tiny bites.
Yeah, I felt so bad. Anyway, yeah, so that's what happened. So that's one thing also, like just be careful when you're buying stuff, how much they actually cost.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're surprised at the counter, like, really? How this so
Well,
expensive?
I mean, and that's here, make sure that you're looking at, and that's a good thing to show children, is that they're looking at, well, how much is that a price per item? Or is it like in our fruits and vegetables, it could be 99 cents per pound. So
Yeah,
then how many pounds do you have? So the rule
yeah.
of thumb that I recently was showing my nephew, because I forgot what he was going in to buy. Oh, it was last year for Thanksgiving. He had planned he was going to do this dessert. He had his money that he was going to spend, and he did, to
Mm,
buy everything. So he planned it out. He went shopping and he made it all himself, and it was fabulous.
mm,
And when he was doing it, I was like, "Are you keeping count of how much you're buying? Like you have this set plan of how much money you have. Are you
mm,
keeping count?" So if something was $3.83, I said round it up to $4. Round everything up to the nearest
mm.
dollar.
Yeah,
Because here we have taxes when we go check out.
yeah, yeah,
So then
true, true.
you're pretty close. And he was pretty much
Yeah,
right at
I think
his
that.
limit on doing that. So he learned something new. And I said, this is how I shop. Um, and this is how I calculate about how much tax I'm going to pay by the time I get to the front.
You know
And I'd
what?
rather overthink how much than underthink.
You know what? I've been wondering nowadays, why does my money seem not to go as far as it did? I think it's the taxes. Hmm. Okay, so uh, yeah, I feel like the taxes were like lower last year. This year, I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Even the end of last year, like, how is this happening? I think it's the taxes. I'm going to investigate this. I feel like I'm paying a lot on tax. Oh
See,
God.
another thing, again, going back to economics and learning about the government, where you
Yeah.
live, all these things are important.
You know
Simple
what?
little things like going there, or why the gas was so much for your vehicle and why it's going up or why it went down. It's important to understand this and to
Uh,
for them to be educated um, moving
mm,
forward. As I said, I'm not as educated as I need to or should be.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to do better by my son and teach him, and he's been very curious about things on his own. So
Okay, me and you together. I'm just gonna disappear for like 2 seconds.
she says that and just leaves me here. So any questions for anybody watching that I can answer? Don't ask me stuff I don't know. I'll have to send that to somebody else.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
But that wasn't even a warning. That was, I'm gonna go click, girl.
Bite me.
I was like, really?
Because I
I'm
knew
gonna
we.
do that. I'm just gonna go, yeah, I'm gone. I
Anyway, so let's go to the questions. So we have,
questions.
yeah, question
What you
number
got for us today?
question number one is admitting daughter with eating disorder. I have to admit my child to a residential program for teens with eating disorders. She has other issues typically associated as well. Are there any parents out there that have been through this and can tell me what to expect? I feel guilty. I feel like my child will never trust me again. I feel like I've let her down. I'm afraid that I won't have the same kid when she comes home. I'm afraid something that wasn't broken will break. I'm afraid of putting her at risk for other abuses. Has anyone gone through this, come out on the other side better than worse, or even vice versa? Have you done residential programs and wish you hadn't? Did you forgo you hadn't? Did you forgo and wish you did do it? I'm just so lost and losing my child at the same time. Yeah.
Um, well, as
Oof.
someone who's worked in the field and I've worked in um, hospitals, um, because I was a mental health therapist, it's a good place. It's a good place to take a step back to get all the tools you need to move forward, right? Because sometimes when we're in our own environment, we will fall back on those um, bad behaviors, those toxic traits, right? Or whatever that is going on. So
Mm,
this removes us from
mm,
that area so then we can learn and those impulses won't be there, right? It's
yeah.
not being in a residential place is not like being in prison, or
Mm,
I'm not sure um what this what the parents' thought process are, and that's where I feel like maybe she needs to go visit for herself and
yeah.
or needs to get some own help to diminish these fears and this anxiety and these thoughts that she has on there. Ruining your daughter? No, you're
Mm,
helping your daughter out, right? If
yeah.
there is a problem, because this can lead to many other issues
Yeah.
later if it is not addressed.
Absolutely.
So
Mm,
stop that, mom, dad, whoever's writing this. Stop doing that to yourself.
mm,
Uh, we are here as our child's advocate, and that is what you're doing. You're advocating for your child. You see that your child was having an issue, and this does require um, other people that specialize, which you do not in this. And so you are doing the right thing for her. Is she going to come back different? Yes, and hopefully for the better for herself, so she could be the best version of herself
yeah.
that she can be. Because right now she has a distorted um, view of herself, like a body dysmorphia, thus the eating,
Yeah.
and while she's doing it. So uh, us being directly in the scope of things, being right in the middle of it, we can't be
Mm,
unbiased,
mm,
right?
mm,
As much as
mm,
we love our children, we can't remain unbiased. They're our children. We're going to love them. This
yeah.
gives an opportunity for somebody on that outside with
Mm,
the knowledge to help guide her on a better path.
mm,
So, but I think mom should also invest in seeking out some resources for herself to get a better understanding so she can also be supportive for her daughter in the
mm,
way that she needs to be as a parent.
yeah. 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 I believe. I. I mean, I'm with you on that. Like, yeah, because I know with certain habits, obviously these are habits that led to this eating disorder, right? There's a place can trigger, an emotion can trigger, or a particular person can actually trigger. I think taking the person from their comfort zone to a new kind of environment is a good thing to overcome wherever she's
And to
going.
learn how to deal with those triggers, because obviously she's going to have to go back home. But
Yeah,
when she's in the midst of this and that issue's not resolved,
yeah,
you can't deal with all that,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So learning how to deal with the triggers and the thoughts and the behaviors is going to be essential for her.
yeah,
And a residential place, some of them are locked down facilities, especially if
mhm,
they're underage, but it's not like a jail. It's because they have people that they're responsible for.
yeah,
And if they get out or escape, it's that facility's responsibility.
of
So
course,
there are some limitations as to like how much or how far you can go out, but it's more like a dorm type situation
yeah,
than it's a little bit more free than a hospital per se
yeah. Anyway,
setting.
yeah. So yeah, hopefully she gets there. Like yeah, to let her go. So sad though. Anyway, so we have a very slow morning routine for teenage boy. My son, 15, high school freshman, has a very slow morning routine that frequently puts him at risk of missing his school bus. It can take him 2 hours plus to shower, dress, eat, and get out the door. He's a very intelligent boy and strong student in advanced and AP courses at his school. He sometimes expresses that he doesn't care about school and doesn't want to go to college in future, but in practice he seems to care quite a bit and gets strong grades and is stressed when he happens to fall behind in his classes. His teachers and school counselor report that he's a good student and does get along well with other kids. He obviously no obvious bullying or similar issues that any of us can identify. In general, he's not very communicative at all about things that are bothering him and can be quite grumpy and testy. Testy.
Testy, yes,
Anyway, efforts
testy.
to shuffle him along quicker in the through his morning routine remind him of the time ETC are generally met with resistance and can actually impede the process further. We have similar issues when trying to get him out the door to go for dinner or other activities on weekends. Wow, in those cases, he can stall or resist seemingly as a way to ultimately get out of going to something. Okay, his mom and I are divorced, but generally work together, discuss issues, and each experience similar challenges when he's staying with either one of us. Lastly, we've worked through various therapists for him, family in the past with limited success. I believe we've used these things as punishment and something he's not interested in. So he'll use similar tactics to make this a non-starter. Ooh. Yeah, so this person is asking for advice.
I mean, sound like a typical teenager, but at the end of the day, there's a time and a place for such behaviors. You're prepping them for the real world. And guess
Yeah,
what? In life, in the real world, you're going to have to do things in your job and other places that you don't necessarily want to do, but you have to do. And
yeah,
that's where it is. And staying consistent. I'm glad to hear that even though the parents are divorced, that they're talking and discussing these behaviors. And that's again where I've said this a million times and I'll say it again. Just because you're divorced does not mean that it's a tit for tat with the child. You
yeah,
have to come together as
yeah,
because you're still parents, whether you're together or not, you're still co-parenting.
yeah,
And you have to come together, come up with a solution. So if this is happening at one and the other house, you guys come together, make a decision about how you're going to handle the situation, and you guys stick with it. So
yeah.
whether he's at mom's or dad's,
Mm,
we follow through the same thing. Because
doesn't
if
matter.
not, he's going
Yeah.
to push one way or another way, and this is going to continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Yeah, so I mean, I he's a slow person. I mean, it's like one point, one point they say, he frequently puts. Okay, he has a very slow morning routine that frequently puts him at risk of missing his school bus. And I'm like, has he actually missed his school bus?
Right.
And reminds me of that movie. I don't remember the name of the movie, but I talked about it recently, and it was like, "But did you die?" But did he miss his school bus? Are there like, for me, it's like, if you miss the school bus, just find a way to get to school. That's number one. I mean, there has to be the consequences.
Well, that's not always possible. Say if she's working and that school is so far away, that's not always possible. I mean, 'cause if you ride the school, usually you're so far from the school. That's why you ride it here in the States. But you brought up a good point. Has he missed the bus? If he hasn't, then are you just frustrated because it's taken him so long? And that's where they need to reevaluate. They need to evaluate themselves and ask why are they so irritated?
Yeah.
If he has it, okay, it's taken him long and he's just getting to the bus stop by the skin of his teeth. I mean, okay, great. That may be frustrating as a parent because that's not how you do things, but is he going and doing what he's supposed to,
Yeah,
right?
that's the same
So
thing.
as a parent, I would question myself. Why am I getting so frustrated with that? He's made it to the bus, maybe barely, but he's always made it. So I would have more problems if he did that routine and he wasn't making it to the school bus. And
I
this is where sometimes as a parent we need to step back.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I don't like, essentially, this thing runs. This child does not want to leave the house. He does not want to go anywhere with anyone. Based on, everything I'm hearing, I'm reading here, even going out with the family, he does not want anything to do with that. So essentially, they don't want to leave the house. This is wild.
I hear a lot about that here, and it just may be a part where he's at in his life that he doesn't, and children go through that. Now, if he's
Mm,
completely withdrawn and there's other things that you're seeing that would cause concern, then you might need to delve deeper into that. If there's other behaviors or signs of things happening. But teenagers go through this mode of, I don't want to do this. That's boring. I'd rather just be here with my things. That's typical behavior. Um, but again, you're the parent and you have to pick your battles and assert what's important. And the children need to understand that you don't always get what you want.
true.
And I say that in the most loving, respectful ways, but they have to learn because if not, these children will grow up being lazy and expecting people to do be at their beck and win. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. Even in society, if somebody really irritates you and ticks you off, you could choose violence, but
Mm.
that choice comes with
Consequence.
consequences, right? So no, there's rules because if you do that, you're going to jail. All
Mm.
right. So, and that's how they have to think about this. Just like when our children get up and go, I do not understand how parents let their kids go to school in their pajamas or their slippers. I see this. I don't understand it in college that
Yeah.
they do this. It is not okay. I mean, unless it's Spirit Week and that day was pajama day, that's another story, okay? But I'm talking on a regular basis, going out to the
Yeah.
store.
Mm,
No, because when children are in school, it is prepping them for later in life, for when they have a job, you have
yeah.
to dress the part. You go to school, you
Yeah.
have to put on clothes. You go to a store, you need to put on clothes. House
Presentable.
clothes are for the house. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and this is one of those same things, okay, I know, understand you may not want to do this. And really, I'm tired and I don't want to, but this is something we have to go do. So please get ready. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. And I've seen this a lot. Like, people have put so little effort in how they look. it's crazy. It's just that it's just being lazy, So this whole thing is now being more common than before, than older days. So now people are just showing up to outside looking like they are going to sleep. It's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we have this is the second last question. Um, uh, I need some advice. My 14-year-old son called me last night hysterical. He took my husband's car and was in a car accident. Luckily, he's okay. And the other person is okay. Cops were called, and both cars will need to be repaired. He's a good kid, but we've definitely let him get away with more as he's our youngest. We've been very lucky up until now and never had to deal with anything like this with our kids. That being said, I really want to get this right and make sure lessons are learned. Suggestions of consequences on consequences.
Well, what would she have done to the other kids that she had? What I heard was we
Yeah,
have been a lot more relaxed with him because he's the
yeah,
youngest.
yeah,
What would you have done if it was any of your other children? That's the
yeah,
first thing.
yeah,
Youngest or not, uh, you're unfortunately creating this issue for yourself, and I see this a lot. Because oh, it's the baby, and even if the baby's like 5, 10 years, and sometimes even 20 years younger than the next oldest child, we can't forget they still are going to grow up to be adults. We still have to follow these rules of choices and consequences.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, I would put the question back on her. What would you have done to your other children?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely getting the thing that scares me the most is the fact that her writing is, I think she's writing in a very relaxed manner, because 14-year-old child driving a car and actually there was someone else in that vehicle would have ended up killing someone or very
Yeah.
serious consequences. And it may mean that, yes, he's gotten away with other serious stuff to this point where he's taking their key to go drive, meaning
He's
that
taking bigger risks.
bigger risks, like it's bigger, seeing how far he can push.
Right.
At this point, it's insane. It's insane, Kim. Like someone would have actually died from this car crash. And I feel like the way she's talking about is a very nonchalant way. Like, that being said, I really want to get this right and make sure lessons are learned. Hi,
Right.
it's like this one is bad, and I think for her to actually get back her son to the level where he understands like actions have consequences, and what I did was extremely careless. It will take time and a bit more effort,
Yeah.
and I don't know how that will go. It's going to affect the son because it's like I did this, there was no consequence. I did this, no consequence. I did this, and then I'm given this really big consequence. I don't know how that's
Right.
going to affect this child, but ultimately,
Right.
this is wild.
Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't hear a lot of emotion within herself of being, I'm really upset in doing this. I didn't hear a lot of accountability. I heard kind of a dismissal of, we've not held him quite to the standards we did to the others. I heard excuses because he's the baby. And that's a problem. You need to hold accountability for yourself as a parent
Yeah,
as to what is going on. That's
absolutely.
first.
Yeah.
And so, and until you take responsibility because he is your responsibility, how are you going to expect him then to be accountable and hold responsibility to what he's just done, which is pretty serious. So, my question is,
Mm.
you know, there was no police involved, there was no
for
You know,
this.
what evolved? What about the father who he took the car from? What was happening there?
Yeah.
Because this is serious because it goes beyond just the child because he had access to those keys that could also fall back on the parents. I would be really upset and be kind of freaked out and panicking if my child came and did such a thing. You know,
Mm,
um, I
wow.
can't answer what because I'm not in their situation,
Yeah.
but if I was mom, I would really reflect on myself and how it got to this point and
Yeah.
take responsibility for that
Mm,
and think of if this was anyone but your youngest child, what would you have done?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely get it. Alrighty. Now the last question is this. Oof, this is very crazy. Hmm. Okay, so I posted. I don't know what this person said that I posted this somewhere else. Thank you, Baba Tiffany. Thank you, Monica, for the likes. Absolutely appreciate it. Okay, so it might be it might be more of a teen problem either. So I don't know. Maybe moderation there will wait. Okay, wait. The title is quite clear. My son admitted to me he's had shakalaka boom boom. Um, I knew it already. The signs were hitting me in the face. Girl who leaves the floor below being at my home without permission at late hours. I have had chatter with his friends, etc. Still, the post is not about knowing about it per se, but the fact it's finally open. Before that, both of us talked around the subject. I was afraid of it leading to him shelling up, and him, I assume, felt it would upset me. Can't say him having shakalaka boom boom is unexpected, but the way he finally got straightforward to me is definitely a lot to take in. Best to start from the beginning. So from the beginning, oh no, this is a long story. Oh my god. Yeah, sorry, I cannot do this. But the child,
Save that one for next time.
yeah, it's no, it cannot even be read the next time. I'll share with you that to your inbox. Even some
Yeah, and
things,
then now maybe I'll break it down and we can talk about it.
yeah, some things have even been redacted from this story. I think they were hidden because my he was giving his history as a victim of shakalaka boom boom abuse.
I mean, just from what you did say and read without knowing anything else from what
And
you have
the
just
child
said.
is 12. The child is 12 before, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna beep back up the bus because if you said it was right in front of your eyes, you've seen it, you guys have like skirted around the issue. That is your issue, mom, dad. As a parent, why were you ignoring? If you said you saw it and you were like kind of skirting around the issue and avoiding the topic, no, you're the parent. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You are the parent. Why would you ignore that? Those are the
Mm,
perfect opportunities to open up and talk to your child and express
yeah,
because if he is showing this and you're seeing the signs of these things happening, you need to be talking because guess what? It was happening as you have found out. People do not ignore this. What I used to tell my clients, if you have a communication or want to open up communication with your children, a good thing that you can do is just get like a notebook. It can be any kind of a notebook. Just have a simple notebook, put it where both of you know where it is, like a kitchen counter or something,
mm,
and it is a safe place that you can go ask questions or they can come ask questions. And then in there, they can say, I would like to speak to you in person about this, or please write your response.
mhm.
This opens up those communication
Lines.
uh, lines. Like, do this. Don't ignore. You saw that something was going on and chose to ignore it. Now you're in this conundrum
Yeah.
that still needs to be addressed. I don't know what the whole story is. I saw you send
Yeah.
it to me. I will personally read this and break it down so we can talk about it next week. But that's the first thing. Parents,
Yeah.
you need to communicate, find a way. This is a great tool to use with your kid and to start talking to them, and where they can ask maybe questions that they're embarrassed to ask you. But this doesn't just stick to it, because eventually they get comfortable, you get comfortable, and you start doing this face to face and not just notebook.
Yeah, true, true. All right. Whew. Okay, so
Yes.
final one now. Do you all ever yell at your kids? My dad used to hit us periodically, and both my parents yelled all the time. I feel like for most part, hitting stopped when Gen X, with Gen X as parents. Obviously, there is still abuse that happens in homes. I'm not discussing that here. I've never hit my kids and don't know folks who do. But the yelling, oh my God, so much yelling when we were kids. I don't yell at my kids, but man, there are times when I just want to yell. Obviously, it's not productive. So I pause and do the things you're supposed to do as a human. It does make for a much safer environment, and we of course get frustrated, but for most part our house is quiet. But are there still yellers out there? Do you all yell at your kids even if infrequently? Just curious if that went away for the most part a generation ago.
We're all human, aren't we? I mean, it's going to happen, right? So it's not necessarily about what happens, but how you react to what happens. Um, and I'm not talking about abuse, essay, physical,
Yeah.
emotional, mental. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about those times where that kid's like, Mom, 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 what? Stop calling me. What? Okay, those are the moments I'm talking about, because we've all been there. We are human. Not one person can say, "Oh yeah, I've never yelled."
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost my cool once or twice, but after I've come to it, I've had to be the big person and go, "Hey,
Yeah.
listen. The
Mm,
way I reacted was not okay.
not true.
I was upset. I had a long day. There's no excuse. I'm just letting you know where that came from.
Yeah.
I will try and do better as a parent,
Absolutely
right?
love that.
So, because you're also then teaching your children how to take accountability for the
Mm,
actions. We are not perfect. It happens to all
yeah.
of us. Our
Yeah.
children have outbursts, and if you are able to, as the adult, come back and say, "Listen, I'm sorry for yelling in that manner. I should have taken a minute to myself and
Mm,
told you to come back in 5 minutes. I will do better next time." All
absolutely.
right. Um, and then also knowing the difference between yelling and raising your voice, or being assertive, or, those are different as well.
Mm,
So if some of us were yelled at or abused, and there's inner trauma that we have not worked out, we may take a raising of somebody's voice as, "Ooh, they're yelling at me." And
yeah.
we might need to unpack those boxes and figure that out, as to what is going on. I posted recently on here a good little saying about, it's the last post I made. So if you go to my thing and look at it, and
Mm,
it's about not reacting to other people's reactions.
mm,
And this is just in general,
mm,
because you don't know, that's their relationship with themselves.
mm,
And basically, you're taking on their problems when you go into those reactions, and you're putting them in charge of what you're going to feel and how you're going to feel,
yeah.
right? So going back to our children, and when we go there, um, you can even say, besides, I should have taken a step back, I should have taken 5 minutes, and, even engage them. What would you have done? What do you think I should have done? Engage them in these conversations.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because just like when my son is upset, I say, "You have every right to be upset. You can be mad. You can flip me off in your head, whatever you want. But it's not okay to, hit, to scream, or to yell, or to act out in a physical way."
Yeah.
I always tell my son, if you need a minute to think about it, because he gets all up in his head a lot, I say, "Tell me, Mom, I need 5 minutes." But no, there's times. you're not going to get that time because maybe we don't have to because of a certain situation. So
True.
understand that.
Mm, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I also yell, but maybe it's more raising my voice. I don't know. Yeah, when I'm like, agitated a bit. But ultimately, I follow my feelings. If I feel guilty after, I'll just say, you know what, I'm sorry, I should not have yelled like that. But this is the reason why this happened, So yeah, it happens. I mean, I'd love maybe with time not to yell, just be very cool. So that it's like if she's speaking very silently, just know she's mad, you know? Like,
Well, and taking that moment too can give you perspective on why you were so upset.
yeah,
So
yeah,
taking that
wow.
time is
Yeah.
important, whether it's with your child. If they're heated, if your child is heated, trying to
Mm,
have a conversation with them at that moment is not going to calm them down. If anything, they've already flipped their lid. You're here and you're talking, and they're in their downstairs brain in survival mode. Then you're going to flip your lid. And if both of you are down here, nobody can reason or listen to anything. So
mm,
that's not going to help. So
yeah,
then both of you need to take a 5 minute break, take a step aside so everybody can reconnect with their upstairs brain.
yeah. Oof, wow. Yeah, parenting a teen or parenting anyone. I was about to say anything.
My cats can be like that too, you know.
It's not
They can be a little spicy.
easy. It's not
The
easy.
dog definitely can. Elliot.
Oh my god. It's not easy at all. Oh my god. Yeah, the days where you think,
Mhm.
oh my, why is this happening? Or why would they do this?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so it's hard, but it's very rewarding, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely rewarding. So anyway, yeah, love the convo today.
Yes,
Love to thank everyone who's joined, the guys who've liked our live. Thank you so much, Monica, for continuing to like our lives. Our live,
yes.
Baba Tiffany, thank you so much. Yeah, we had a lot of support today. Absolutely appreciate it. Um,
Thank you, thank you.
we're here every
Don't
Thursday.
forget to like and follow
Yeah,
us.
like, follow us, please. More like follow us, please. And yeah, I see you next Thursday,
Yes,
where we talk about parenting in general, but mostly parenting teens, because we are both parents of teens. Uh,
yes.
yeah. So anyway, thank you so much, Kim,
Thank you for having me.
and everyone else who's here. Yeah. See you next time.
Yes.
Au revoir.
See you
Mwah.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.